Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So, our objective for today is that students will be able to create an expression to model a relationship. So, we're starting our next unit today. It's called Say It with Symbols, and we're starting to get more into the pre algebra that we're going to need next year when we take algebra. All right. So, some of this stuff we've already seen before, and some stuff that we're going to see later this unit is going to be new. All right. So, the idea is in algebra, we use symbols or variables to represent information, right? And sometimes, depending on what information you're looking at, you can express that different ways. So, for example, I have four different statements here that all mean the same thing. So, it says Miss Heidel is older than Mr. Correa. Mr. Correa is younger than Miss Heidel. Miss Heidel was born before Mr. Correa, and Mr. Correa was born after Miss Heidel, right? So the idea here is, again, they all mean the same thing, but I'm writing them different ways. And we're going to be able to do the same thing with equations and expressions later. So before we get to that, though, what I want you to do first is see if you can write your own statement here that communicates the same idea, right? How could you write that a different way? So pause the video, write your statement there. Now, next thing. Remember, we have already written a lot of equations before, and we looked at our stuff with linear units, also our stuff with exponentials, right? We wrote equations. So what we're considering today is we're looking at first just a rectangle, right? If I had a rectangle and I said that I had a length of L, so this is the length, the width of W, this is the width here, right? There's a couple of different ways that you can think about finding the perimeter, right? Just remember that the perimeter is defined as the length going around the outside of a rectangle, right? So, for example, right, Miss Heidel said that she thinks the perimeter is equal to 2 times the sum of the length plus the width. But the way that I think about it is I say, okay, it's 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So what I want you to do first is just write down here, are both of these correct, and explain why you think they're correct in words. Right? After that, just to make sure that they're correct, we're going to go ahead and verify by trying to substitute in a width and a length that's given. So what I'm saying here is, okay, so let's use a width of 6 and a length of 4. So if I'm looking at this thing here, that's like saying that this side is 6, this side is 4. Our opposite sides are equal, so this is also 4. This is obviously not drawn to scale. And I would just substitute those numbers into here. So for example, I'll do this one for you, you're gonna do the one on the right. I say that number here is equal to 2 multiplied by 4 plus 6. Remember, order of operations, I'm gonna do the parentheses first. So that's gonna be 2 times 10, which equals to 20. So what I want you to do is just verify on the right-hand side to see if we get the same answer or not. That's going to tell us if both of those are actually correct. All right, just take a minute, pause the video. All right, now that you're done, next thing that we're going to do is just go down to the next section where we're going to look at an example. All right, so what we're talking about today are in-ground pools. All right, in-ground pools usually have a border of tiles going around the outside. They have a rough surface so that people don't slip and fall. So if I'm looking at this square here, right, we're looking at square pools today. This blue area represents the water of the pool, and this tan area on the outside represents the borders going around the outside, right? So S in this case represents how long this pool is. It's a square, so this side is the same as this side. And I'm saying that there are 1 foot border tiles going around the outside, right? This might look a little confusing at first, but we're going to see some examples that are going to make it look a lot easier, okay? So let's look, for instance, at this pool down here, right? I can see that I have a pool here. I can see that I have border tiles around the outside. So first thing that I want you to figure out is, what is the size of the pool? Right? I'm not going to tell you how to do this, but based on what we see here, right, this isn't broken up inside, but can use the border tiles to figure out how long each side of the pool is, right? That's the number that you're going to put here. Next one is how many border tiles are required. So all you have to do there is count up how many tiles are over here. All right, that's the first part done. Now, next part is once you've figured out that first case, we want to try to look for a pattern. So to do that, we're actually going to look at a couple of different pool lengths going from length 1 up to length 6. Now, to help you do this, you're going to want to try to draw these out, right? But this one right here, this is one of those cases. I'm not going to tell you which one, so you should already have one result. Now, you can go to the last page, click on that link there, and use this here to try to help you figure this out. I'm going to show you how to do that, right? So all you have to do is first figure out how you want your border color to be, how big you want the pool to be. So let's say I make a square, it has to be the same length and the same width. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to highlight those, hit this paint bucket, just hit a tan color, yellowish. So that would be the border. I'm going to add the pool inside. So I'm just going to go remember around. So I have a 1 foot border going around the outside. Change the color to blue. That's my water. So this actually is the same pool that we had before. And you can make pools of different sizes. So let's say I wanted a bigger one. I'm just going to highlight a bigger region, make sure it's square. So let's say this one here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that's 8 by 8. First, I'm going to color it tan. And then I'm just going to go in 1 to make a square that's just kind of 1 unit smaller. Make that blue. Now I have a different pool. All right, again, remember the length of the pool is defined as just counting up how long this side is, so you can kind of count the squares. And then the border tiles, you're counting up how many you have on the outside, right? And the idea is to look for a pattern. So once you have that done there, the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna answer these couple of questions here. So based on what you saw, how many border tiles would a pool of length 10 have, right? You can try to draw it out, but ideally, what pattern do you notice and trying to count those up? And then also going up to a pool of length 20. How many border tiles would that pool have? Last thing is just to generalize that and try to write an expression for the number of border tiles that you need to surround a pool that has a side length of S. So in general, right? This one here is 10, this is 20. So if I had one that had a length of S, what would I have to do to figure out how many border tiles I need in that case? All right. The next section is just the extension, so you can work on that when you're done. If you have any questions, just please make sure you attend the Zoom session so I can help you out with this stuff. All right, good luck.